All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is JP for 730 Sports. We're going to touch on a couple of things here. Uh, the party's over for Mr. Peyton Manning. I've been saying it since last season. Some have been saying it since last season. Others have been lying to us when they call the games or during pregame or postgame. They've been trying to convince us that everything's okay. Peyton's not good anymore. Physically, he just can't do it. Now, we saw him get benched, and, quarterbacks get benched. That's not the problem. The issue is he got benched because he's been terrible. He's been terrible all season. He was terrible last season. Now, after the benching, Kubiak comes out and tries to save some face and tries to make it easy for Peyton by talking about a foot injury. If he was good enough to play, and you thought he was good enough to play in the game, then you didn't sit him down because of his injury. You set him down because he was ineffective. This injury, people have played with this injury. Eli Manning played with this injury for a half a season. So it's not the injury, it's the fact that he just can't get it done anymore. And, it's not a knock on him, one of the greatest of all time, Peyton Manning is. But, when you're done, you're done. And sometimes we just have to accept that. And it's tough for athletes to accept when they're finished. They've been playing football all their lives or, whatever sport they participated in. You've been playing it all your life, and now you can't do it like you used to, and, you really don't want to give up on it. But the Broncos are in a very strange position here because they have a team that is Super Bowl ready. The quarterback that should be getting them to that Super Bowl is no longer effective, and your backup can't get it done. So what do? It wouldn't surprise me if Peyton comes back and plays after his quote-unquote injury heals. But I don't think it's going to matter. He's not effective. He had one good game coming off a bye week, and everybody thought, you get the pundits saying, see, I told you he wasn't done. But, he was coming off a bye week. The weeks before that and the game after that, he went back to being what he was, and that was pretty bad. He just can't get the ball down the field. His mind works, but his body won't allow him to do what he sees. So, Peyton is pretty much done, and Denver has to figure out what they're going to do. I think he played 1 year too long. Last year was was their last shot with Peyton Manning, and they tried to see if they can get one more year out of him. Not going to work out. So Denver's in a strange position. They'll have to figure that out. On the NBA note, another guy that's finished is Mr. Kobe Bryant. And, Kobe will never say it. He's made comments about him being one of the worst players in the NBA. But here's when you know that you're finished and expectations for you are low. Kobe Bryant had a game maybe 2 nights ago. He put up 17 points on like 9 of 23 shooting, and he might have had 9 boards or something along those lines, and people were calling it a good game. Now, this is Kobe Bryant. That's not a good game for Kobe Bryant. That's a good game for the guy that plays at the end of your bench. So expectations are so low for Kobe right now that a 17-point game, shooting under 50%, throwing a few rebounds and a couple assists, and they're calling it a good game. I love Kobe, man, but when it's done, it's done. You have to understand that it's finished. They have some young players on that team that need those shots and need those minutes, and I'm expecting Kobe at some point to say, it's time for me to sit down or come off the bench or let these young guys play, because it helps the organization in the long run. This is a wasted year. So there's no point in Kobe getting these shots and getting these minutes, and he can't perform. You know, he played 36 minutes the other night and couldn't play the next game. Basically said he had a hard time standing up. At that point, it's pretty much time to hang it up. But like I said, it's difficult for these athletes to do. It's hard for them to say, I'm finished and I can't play this game anymore. So we'll see how it shakes out. The Lakers aren't going anywhere regardless, but we got to let the young guys on the Lakers get the shots, and somebody has to step in and do the right thing here. Um, Another moment in the NFL. Let's talk about some lameness. People being lame in the NFL. Andy Dalton, his response to J.J. Watt was lame. You know, you throw in the kids and the role model and all that type of stuff. Adults love to do that when somebody says something bad about them publicly. They like to say, well, what about the kids? What do the kids think? No, this is the NFL. We're not talking about children here. You're a grown man. Now, what J.J. Watt said really wasn't all that bad. Pretty much I thought it was kind of corny in a kind of way, but, you know, red rifle to the red BB gun. Now, okay, whatever. Andy Dalton sort of just shrugged that off and kept moving with life. His team just lost a game on national TV. But this is a reason why Andy Dalton doesn't get it done in playoff time. This is an example. When you take a comment that far, it makes you look soft. Your teammates think you're soft. The whole world thinks you're soft, and you can't be soft. You have to not care what somebody else has to say. So I didn't like the way Andy Dalton handled that. I thought it was really, really, really lame. If he wanted to be a man about it, either you fire back or you say nothing. But don't go to the role model kid speech because another grown man said something about you, And it was really kind of corny what J.J. Watt said. It really wasn't. If it was me, I'd shrug it off and say, okay, next question. Because it's really not. It was kind of corny. Who cares? But Andy Dalton took it to a whole nother level. Makes me think he's soft. And might be a reason why when the lights shine the brightest, he's not getting it done. But we'll see come playoff time. But losing to the Texans was not a good thing. That was not a good thing. You can't lose that football game, being the Cincinnati Bengals. Another moment of lameness this weekend in football. Cam Newton. People giving Cam hell for dancing in the end zone. Now there's two parts to this scenario. The first part are the Tennessee Titan players, the defense, for being upset at Cam for dancing in their end zone. Here's the deal. Very simple. You play defense, he plays offense. If you don't want him dancing in your end zone, you don't let him score. Very simple. Easy. And if you can't stop him from scoring, then he should be able to do the whop, the dab, the cabbage patch, or anything else he wants to do in your end zone. You need to stop him. If you can't stop him, live with it. So the Tennessee players that stepped to Cam in that situation, they were lame for that. I don't have a problem with Cam dancing in their end zone. He scored. If you don't like it, stop him. Really easy. Simple. The other part to this story is the woman who took the time to write the newspaper about Cam's dance in the end zone and the effect it had on her and her daughter, her 9-year-old daughter. Listen, NFL football game where there's drinking, cursing, half-naked leaders, beer commercials, all sorts of foul language in the stands. And you want to write a letter because you thought Cam dancing in the end zone was disrespectful. And she also took the child angle by making it seem like her child had many questions about why Cam was acting the way he was acting. Here's the deal. Any woman that takes the time to send an email, or this woman probably wrote a letter, to a newspaper to complain about a dance that was done in the end zone of a football game is lame. This lady is lame. She's probably boring as all outdoors. She probably walks boring. She dresses boring. Her meals are boring. Her husband's probably bored. These type of people, I don't know what to say about them. You go to a football game and you get upset about a dance done in the end zone, and you take the time to contact a newspaper, and the lame newspaper prints it. So there's just all sorts of lameness being done here in this whole scenario. But this lady's kind of lame. She might need to loosen up a little bit, get a life, stop being so tight, stop being so boring, because anybody that would write a newspaper about a dance done in the end zone probably is boring. She's boring. Everything is boring about her. So, lameness all the way around. Some other news. Nick Foles gets benched. Who's surprised? You trade Bradford for Nick Foles. You traded the same guy to get a guy in return that's exactly the same. They both stink. I'm not surprised here. Way to go, Rams. Uh, Dallas Cowboys, they're a sideshow. The biggest circus in town. Boys, it's just a circus over there. I don't know who's running that football team. Well, I know who runs it. I know who should be running it, and that's the coach. It seems that Jerry Jones has put his hands all over his team, and once again, they're the laughing stock. People talk about embarrassing teams around the league. The Cowboys are right up there. They are right up there. There's always a circus with the Cowboys. It's just a show. It's not even about football. And I think Jerry Jones likes it that way. I think he condones the actions of some of these players and the things that they do. Jason Garrett, feel sorry for him because he's really not coaching this football team. So we'll see how that goes with the Cowboys. Some other news. See what else happened. Green Bay lost 3 in a row. Green Bay's been looking terrible for weeks. It's starting to show up. I don't think it's a very good football team, but they might be able to rebound. We'll see. Rob Bryant gets fired. No one surprised there. When you let Kirk Cousins put up numbers like that, on top of all of the numbers that other quarterbacks have been putting up against your defense, you're going to get fired. The defense has been horrible. I don't know if it's lack of talent or whatever the situation is, but it always seemed to me that Rob Ryan was trying to run a scheme that he didn't have the players for. So, we knew he was going to get fired. That was just a matter of time. What else is going on around the NFL? Seattle loses again. Some real problems with that team. And the pundits, they love to say, well, Seattle can get it together. Seattle will figure it out. They'll get on the roll. They'll get on the roll. People got to stop listening to these people on TV because they lie to you. They have to lie to you. Seattle is not a very good football team. Offensively, they're terrible. Russell Wilson has been a garbage. I got a theory on the Russell Wilson situation. Her name is Sierra. Sometimes the people you spend your day-to-day life with have a direct effect on your job performance. I'm just going to leave that alone. All right. Seattle's just not very good. The 49ers play them this week. We'll see what the Niners do against Seattle. I really don't want the Niners to win any more games. Let's look forward to the draft. But beating Seattle, I don't have a problem with that if we can pull it off. But I'm not sure about that because as bad as they are, we're worse. So, if the defense holds up and we get some decent play from Gabbert, meaning don't turn the ball over. He doesn't have to be great. He just has to be mistake-free. We might be able to pull a little bit of an upset there. So that's just a quick video. Timing and the scheduling is crazy right now, so I don't know when we're going to be able to uh, get back to the full NFL previews, and probably after Thanksgiving is what it's looking like. So, that's it, man. JP for 730 Sports. We're out.